Mixed media started for me back in 2000. At the time, I was doing watercolors, just watercolors. And I happened to come across an artist who was mixing crayons into his work. And I was like, wow, I love that. Even though I knew mixed media existed, I never really envisioned what it would look like for me. I think I was so busy trying to understand watercolor that introducing anything else just seemed like too much. But I couldn't get that vision out of my head. It just spoke to me in a way that watercolor wasn't. So I ordered a bunch of crayons and started mixing. And after that first session, I knew mixed media had so much more to offer than staying in one lane. It opened up everything, including all those old rejects sitting in a pile, old watercolor landscapes and studies that didn't make it. Suddenly, those weren't rejects anymore. Now I could put crayon into them, graphite, acrylic. And one thing just led to another. And what I really love about it is you can bring all of it back to strong fundamentals. Design and composition, drawing skills, getting a likeness without copying. Those things still matter. I'm not a non-representational painter. I have to have something there. But that something is never really that important to me. Although I'll admit, I do like milk duds. I mean, when I got milk duds trick-or-treating as a kid, that was the real deal. I trade a Reese's, no problem. I trade a Tootsie Roll. But you're not getting my milk duds. That ain't happening. Movie theater, milk duds, and popcorn. That's it. But anyway, the subjects are just something to get me going. I was never attached to what I was painting. I was attached to the process. And I still am. Rejects, old drawings, old studies. Nothing gets filed away as worthless anymore. Because they represent a moment in the studio where I was pushing past mediocrity. And mediocrity breeds predictable art. I know I can walk into my studio and paint a decent acrylic landscape with some lobster boats. I can do it. I can walk away from it. But there's zero satisfaction in that. The real reward is those sessions where I'm pushing what I already know. And the results probably aren't going to be finished art. I know that. I've done it enough to know that those sessions don't reward you today. It's the constant tearing it down, rebuilding it, getting away from the safe stuff that was ultimately giving you your best work. Looking back now, 20 years later, miles and miles of paint, there's not one single painting I'd point to and say, that's the one. But the moments that stick out, that sound of collage getting glued down, a brush scrubbing vigorously across the surface, graphite on a hard board, Those are the moments I look forward to the most. I'm not saying everyone should agree with how I define being creative or making art, but I can only share what's been most impactful for me and the things that have made the huge difference. Not just a subtle change or improvement, but I'm talking to have made a profound impact in my art are the things I'm sharing with you now. I mean, they're very important. And what is so contradicting about it is there's usually very little finished art to show for it. And that's why I talk about finished art quite a bit. It can be such a trap, you know. You can create finished art, but it doesn't mean you've learned anything or you've gained any sort of creativity out of the journey. A lot of times it can mean the opposite. I think it really just comes down to, having goals and understanding what those goals mean. I do think for everyone, they change over time. So early on, it was about just learning how to paint with watercolor and painting something finished that looked legitimate. I mean, that was my goal. But it wasn't long after that, when I achieved that goal, that I kept chasing it and it wasn't fulfilling anymore. I realized that the goal needed to change. What used to work doesn't work anymore. And I think that's what I love about the process of what I do now is just constantly, building things, constructing them, deconstructing them, breaking them apart, and then finding out how we can put this thing back together again using different ideas and approaches. This painting is 2 rejects and a box of Milk Duds. That's it. The painting doesn't mean that much to me, honestly. But if it were in my Halloween candy, yeah, you're not getting it. I appreciate you staying to watch, and I hope you enjoy the demo and the ideas I shared with you. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.